Okay, let's talk about the herbs that ancient people knew of and used as forms of contraception and as abortifacients, meaning they caused an abortion. So we know a lot of this information from the Ebers Papyrus. This is the ancient Egyptian document where we have a lot of evidence, even though the evidence shows that it was probably written somewhere between 1550 BCE and 1500 BCE. We know that the knowledge contained in this document is much older. There is evidence in here. In addition, it's really important to note that a lot of times when looking at historical documents, you're not going to see the word abortion. You're just not going to see it. Instead, you're going to see euphemisms for it. So, for example, one of the phrases commonly seen in the Ebers Papyrus is recipes that are made for women. That would be a phrase that tells us, hint, hint, this is going to be talking about abortion and contraception, or it might talk about stopping or returning of the menstrual cycle. That is the language that ancient people used to talk about contraception and abortion. Then what you find is usually recipes that you're given the ingredients that get put together as to create a form of contraception or to that lead to an abortion. Now that is problematic as a source because usually you just have the list of ingredients noted, which tells us that either there were different versions of how much of each ingredient to include in each recipe, or they just didn't want to put that down. So even looking at those documents today, you wouldn't be able to put together a recipe today based on these recipes. In addition, the names of the herbs are not given in modern terminology. But scientists have been able and scholars have been able to basically translate and tell us what some of these herbs are called today. So, for example, two of the herbs that we have today that would have been used as both contraceptive and abortifacient would be acacia, especially the seed of acacia was known to cause an abortion, and colocynth. So, we know that these are herbs known to the ancients. In addition, these herbs when could be put together to create pessaries and then used as a form of contraception. Colocynth in particular, we know now is very dangerous and people can take lethal amounts of that and die. So we know that must have happened at some point, and that's how people would have figured out the quantity of each herb to use. One other thing that exists today that was used by ancient people, in particular the Greeks, used pomegranate seeds as a form of contraception. So some of the things they used did not work, but a lot of the things they used we know today